All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use our Gale ebook collection and our Gale in Context database to do some research for your decades project. So going into Gale, this is on our library research resources page. I click on Gale and it's going to take me to this page with all of our Gale resources. I'm going to start with Gale eBooks because that is where we have curated a whole collection of resources just for the Decades Project. So on our Gale ebook page, this is just a nice ebook reference collection. The very first thing you'll see on here is Decades paper. If you scroll down, you'll see other topics as well. This is what we're going to focus on for today. So we have all of our volumes related to the Decades Project in here. So when we go in here, we can see all of the different ebook volumes that we have in here. So we have a good variety of different resources here available for the Decades Project. And there's a few different ways that you can search resources here in Gale eBooks. So you can start by going into an individual one of these. So let's start with primary sources, because this is probably one of the best places you can find primary sources for the Decades Project. So going into primary sources, I can go and look through things individually, individual volumes if I want. It can take a lot of work to do that. So up here in this upper right-hand corner, I can search within publication, and I can search within specific volumes. So down here, I can choose a volume. So let's say I wanted to look at the 1960s. So I choose 1960, 1969 is my volume. Up here, now I can search within this volume, and let's say I just want primary sources about fashion from the 1960s. So I'm going to search fashion and click submit. And now all of my resources over here are different primary sources from the 1960s. So some of these might be photographs, some of them are articles, they could be speeches. There's all kinds of different things that count as a primary source. I'm just going to go ahead and go into this one about Mary Quant. So I've got my primary resource here. It's all about her, and there's an image. Now, when I have a resource, if I want to save this into my Noodle tools, it's really easy to do that from Gale. Gale makes it super easy to just send stuff right over. So I'm going to go up to the Cite button up at the top, and this is across all of the Gale resources, and click Cite. And it gives me my MLA citation already formatted. Now what I'm going to do is over here, I can export to Noodle Tools at the bottom of this window. So I'm going to click Export to Noodle Tools. And now it's going to give me this. I can go and choose my project. I've got my Decades paper project for this year, and I'm going to import. And now if I go over to my Noodle Tools projects, and I go to my Noodle Tools, my Decades paper folder, I can see that resource has gone and been imported into that folder. So that's just kind of the basics of how you can send stuff over to Noodle Tools and look in individual volumes. You can also search multiple sources at once within Gale. So if you want to kind of have a broader search within Gale eBooks, I can go back to this homepage and then again go into the Decades paper page. So when I'm in here, we call this a collection. It's a collection of all the different books related to the Decades paper project. So in here, if I want to search all of these books at once, I can go up in the top and search within collection. And so let's say for the sake of this one that I want to do mod fashion. So let's say that's the specific focus is I want to look at the mods and kind of that era of fashion. I can do that searching within the collection. And now I have all the different resources from different volumes. So I've got an Encyclopedia of the 60s. I've got an American Decades volume, the primary sources volume, one from fashion fads. And you do have to kind of double check because sometimes these results might give you things that aren't actually within your decade. So just double check as you're looking through and make sure that it fits with the decade that you're researching. But now I can go and take one of these and go to that article. And again, I can click the Cite button. I can export to Noodle Tools and put it in my folder. And now I've got that resource saved. On the resource page itself, I wanted to point out a few other things that are useful. You can send Two, if you want to send the article over to like your Google Drive, you can download it as well. So those are both options if you don't want to just have things in Noodle Tools. The nice thing with Noodle Tools is that you can go and access any of those resources once you've got them saved in here. So there's this little box that will take me right back to the source. So Noodle Tools not only cites everything for you, but it actually saves all of your resources in one spot. So it makes it really easy to go back and access them again. But those are options if I wanted to do one of those. If I scroll down, there's accessibility options here. So you can change your font size, you can change your display, you can have the article read aloud. It's kind of like a computer voice, but that's helpful if you're more of an auditory learner. And then over here in this box, there's more like this. So these are related articles. Sometimes they're useful, sometimes they're not. In this case, those aren't really related to my fashion search, but sometimes they would be. You can also see related subjects, so bohemianism or British culture might be useful in this case. Scrolling down, I can also see more stuff at the bottom of the article. So that's kind of the basics of how to use Gale eBooks. Again, you go to that main page, you go to that Decades paper collection. You can go into the individual volumes. We have a lot of primary sources in here. These ones also with a kind of newsprint background are also primary sources. Or you can search within the entire collection. So that's how to search Gale eBooks. And on the next video, I'm going to take you into how to search the Gale in Context database.